Ms. Graves claims that her marriage is about to take a nosedive, and there's a high chance her husband is going to leave her. She wants to prove that her husband is the father of her 19-year-old daughter. Her husband, Mr. Baker, says that she told him that two men could possibly be her daughter's father, and that's why he doubts the paternity. The case starts like this.
Ms. Graves, you state your marriage is on the rocks and on the brink of divorce.
Yes, ma'am.
You're suing your husband, Mr. Baker, for a paternity test to prove that he's your 19-year-old daughter, Vanicia's biological father. You claim you're hoping this DNA test will fix your family.
If she's staying off like that, then her marriage must be in some serious mess. She says that her husband is not acting like the man he should be, and it's almost as if she does not feel his presence in the house.
22 years ago, you had a daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
And for a year, he thought it was his biological daughter.
Yes.
But you were honest that it may or may not be. Ultimately, you had a DNA test and it was determined that, in fact, he was not the biological father of your older daughter.
Yes, ma'am.
This is the reason why you believe he has doubt concerning your daughter, Vanicia.
Correct.
Unbelievable. She's actually being upset? Ha ha ha. What a woman. Apparently, this isn't the first situation. Ms. Graves had a child for another man, and after her husband took care of the child for a year, he found out that he was not the father. It's no surprise he has doubts about this one.
Mr. Baker, why are you cursing a 19-year-old girl? What is this behavior?
I mean, verbal words come out due to the fact that, you know, hey, she felt like I hurt her. So,
well, he does me the same way.
So what I'm trying to understand is, Ms. Graves, you believe this treatment, the way that he interacts with your daughter is based upon his doubt?
Yes.
There's no lie there. She is right. Yes, she might have been out of line for cheating on him, but he has no right to curse at her kids. They are children, for crying out loud. Him claiming not to know how to love has to be the worst excuse I have ever heard.
You have always told him he's Vanicia's father.
Well, when she was 5, I went to him to his mother's house, and I said, Michael, I seen some resemblance. So I went to him and I said, Michael, Mr. Baker, I think we need to do a paternity test.
But do looks always count?
He cursed me out and belittled me in front of many of people.
Oh my.
Damn. I'm still trying to understand how these guys even got together to make a baby when they can't agree on anything in the courtroom. Well, it sure looks like their trust issues have been there way before their daughter came into the world.
Said that I was her father.
Okay, but what about when she was 10?
When she was 10,
and we were together, and she was calling you daddy.
You told me that she was my father.
You told me that she looked like you.
Okay,
similarity.
I said that.
Okay.
I know I said
okay,
that.
then.
But I didn't say,
so
did you say that I was her father?
Since she walked into the courtroom, all Ms. Graves has been doing is spitting facts. From the looks of it, her husband is just giving every excuse to justify his doubt. What's sad is the fact that the little girl has to see both of them yell at each other all because they made stupid mistakes.
He doesn't even know how to treat me with that. He's not compassionate. He cussed me out. You know, I'm doing chemo, and right before I do the chemo, we're arguing, and my blood pressure shot through the roof.
So it's basically blame on me, though.
Yes.
Blame me, blame me, blame me.
Please spell it out to him, because he doesn't seem to understand at all. Ms. Graves has a very serious medical condition, and all he is worried about is the fact that the child might not be his. Does he not at least care about his wife's health? Jeez.
Doubts, specifically as it relates to her.
Like I say, it's not just me, it's two other guys, you know? And the timing, yeah, you might say that we were here and there, but at the same time, the timing, it could match up and it could not match up.
The two other men, how did you find out about these two?
I mean, she told me about them. Ms. Graves told me about them.
What did she tell you?
She said that it could be a possibility that two other guys that she's involved with could be the father of Miss Curl.
Phew, the surprises in this case just never end. Apparently, Ms. Graves told Mr. Baker that there are two other men who could be the father of her daughter. If that's the case, how then does she know that Mr. Baker truly is the father of her child?
Talk me through this. Vanicia's birth date is what?
July 28th, 95.
So when you put in her birth date, July 28th, 1995, and you press calculate.
Yes, ma'am.
It gave you dates of conception of October 31st through November 8th, 1994, meaning that was during the time of Halloween, where you were intimate with Mr. Baker.
I was honest.
Man, it still doesn't make any sense if we're being honest. She slept with the other men, the same time she slept with Mr. Baker. and it all happened during the window of conception. At this point, I think only the results can't help us solve this case. Let's see what they have to say.
Mr. Baker, you are not her father.
You're my daughter no matter what. Okay, I'm sorry.
Ms. Foster has asked the court to provide a DNA test so she can prove that the defendant, Mr. Fields, fathered her 17-month-old daughter, who was born with extreme medical conditions. All she wants is for him to step up. Mr. Fields, on the other hand, says that she was pregnant before they met, and he has proof. Well, here is how it started.
Ms. Foster, you've petitioned the court for a DNA test to prove that the defendant fathered your 17-month-old daughter, Sienna, a beautiful little girl born with extreme medical needs. You've dragged him to court to order he pay the support he's been neglecting. Mr. Fields, you say you're 100% certain that you are not her child's father because she was pregnant before you met.
And all he got were 3 onesies and 2 pairs of socks? Lord God, what is wrong with Mr. Fields? I mean, even if he doubts that he is the father of the child, doesn't he care that the baby has extreme medical conditions that need money? How heartless can he be?
What happened the first night?
She came to my house, you understand? She had bought some new shorts. I was trying to be respectable and I asked her, do you want to go in the bathroom and change your clothes? She tells me no.
Aha, even Judge Lauren is speechless. Mr. Fields makes a shocking confession. He says that the first night they hooked up, they had sex like it was a normal thing. When they were done, her mom came and picked her off. Let's not forget the fact that she told him she was a virgin. That's just wild.
He said that you were saying you were a virgin at that time. Were you?
I was practically, before him, there was some
What's
other guy.
practically?
There was
How
some
can you
other
be
guy.
practically a virgin?
There was some other guy
That's
before him, and I
impossible.
don't count that as a partner.
I mean, who has? There is no such thing as being practically a virgin. Either you are one or you aren't one. Ms. Foster is the only one who knows what she means when she says she's practically a virgin. Oh well, the summary is that she was not a virgin when she slept with Mr. Fields.
You're saying that Ms. Foster was trying to get your number and was texting your brother and your mother trying to get your phone number. I'm asking you, why is this out of the ordinary if she believes you're her child's father? Of course she would
Because-
try to get in touch with you. You think she's trying to get in touch with you because she wants to be with you?
Judge Lauren's face is honestly making me speechless right now. She's so confused. It's like she's looking at 2 kids who are fighting over who gets the bigger portion of lunch. Except the sad case is there's a baby in question and the baby needs its father.
That
Ms.
this is
Foster,
not gonna last with her.
Where that's coming
this
from?
is temporary.
what is this?
A Facebook
A
message.
Facebook message
I
that
haven't
says, I still have love for you that will never change. I wish we would have had a longer relationship. Even with my girlfriend now, our relationship not going to last long.
Let's just agree with her. She does sound pretty confident though. Anyway, Ms. Foster drops evidence that says that Mr. Fields told her that his current relationship wasn't going to last and he wishes they could have a future together. As you would expect, he denies it.
So, Mr. Fields, you came to the hospital for the birth, and why was that if you didn't think the child was yours?
Because of the medical condition that the baby was in, you know, I didn't want to just up and leave.
He was there through the whole pregnancy, basically, and except a month.
Someone who doesn't think he could be a father wouldn't do all that. Ms. Foster says that Mr. Fields was there for everything. He stood by her side when the baby was born and even went to see her when she was in her mother's house. He claims that he did all of that because of the baby's medical condition. I honestly doubt that.
Family
His
meetings.
family got into
My
his
mama
head.
was in Texas.
Me and his mother actually had a good relationship, so I honestly don't know what happened. Towards the end, I'm not gonna lie, I was really rude to Jaqual during my pregnancy because I was underneath a lot of stress.
Oh, he did not just say that to Ms. Foster. She lost her twins and he thinks the right thing to say is suck it up and get over it with a smile on his face? That is just evil. I'm sure Judge Lauren is going to give me a lashing for that statement.
This cavalier, I don't care, everything's a shrug of the shoulders, nothing matters to me, when we're sitting here talking about a child that literally is fighting for her life to have a healthy life.
Look like I was right. Judge Lauren was pissed and she did not spare him one bit. It's insane that he would even say something like that knowing Ms. Foster's situation. It's time for the results. Mr. Fields better pray he is not the father of the baby.
Mr. Fields, you are her father.
Mrs. Moon Merrifield says that her family is in the process of being torn apart. She brings her husband to court to prove to him that he is the father of her 20-month-old son. Her husband, Mr. Merrifield, says that he believes that she cheated on him and has been lying to him that he is the father of her son. This is how the case begins.
Mrs. Moon Merrifield, you say your family is in jeopardy of being torn apart.
Yes, Your Honor.
You've dragged your husband, Mr. Merrifield, to paternity court to prove that he fathered your 20-month-old son, Kane.
Yes, Your
You
Honor.
claim he's been denying your son since birth.
Yes, Your Honor.
At least we know she is still in love with her husband. She says that her husband should know her better. They've made mistakes, and they aren't perfect, but she has never gone out of their marriage to be with any man.
You have the divorce papers already
Yes, ma'am.
filled out. They're just, what, awaiting execution?
I need to find out the answer if this is my child or not.
He always
Get some
results
help.
to that. Anytime we have a fight or an argument or whatever, it's always divorce.
Him already feeling the divorce papers is crazy. Mr. Merrifield is honestly ready to walk out of the marriage if it turns out that he is not the father of the child. Mrs. Moon Merrifield says that every time they fight, he always threatens her with a divorce.
The reason why we're here in the first place, man, I caught her texting some dude that supposedly was supposed to be her ex-boyfriend that was right before my two
Yeah,
sons was
he did.
born.
Yeah, he
whatever.
did.
I've seen some Facebook messages from these guys, this person before.
It looks like we have another insecure man who can't control his imagination. Mrs. Moon Merrifield says that he is still friends with people he has slept with, and they comment on his Facebook. But anytime she texts anyone, he makes a big deal out of the situation.
And you say, are you messing with my wife?
Yes.
And he says, hey, bro, don't nobody want your wife. I'm far from it. And I'm not
think
about
it
to
is
be
the whole time.
arguing with you. You need to be with your wife instead of acting like a clown.
She does seem to be telling the truth, but this won't be the first time a lady would walk into the courtroom and act this way only for the child to have a different father. But let's give her the benefit of the doubt. For now, she says she didn't sleep with the guy who she's always texting and calling.
We was together, the first 3 years was good, all the way up until 18. Once we turned 18, she started saying, I was her first boyfriend, first everything, so she wants to experience, other men and other things. So I'm like, okay, I have to deal with that. She'll break up with me for a weekend, go do whatever she want to do and come back and want to be back together on a Wednesday.
That's a
you know
lie.
what I'm saying?
It still seems to me like Mr. Merrifield is a very insecure man. If you ask me, I'd say that these two have always had trust issues from the very start. They don't seem to trust each other, and that's why they are in this mess for real.
Mr. Merrifield,
Yes.
can you please explain to me the doubt you have concerning Kane's paternity?
Okay, the doubt that I have, the reason why I have doubt is I found her texting 3 different dudes.
Damn, how did these two even get married? It's like every statement that pops out of their mouth is a motion to begin an argument. Trust me, they are going to get on Judge Lauren's nerves, and she is not going to take it easy on them. 16 years of being together should not look like this.
Do you have proof that your wife was intimate with anyone else during that time
Besides
as well?
the text messages, no. But her ex-boyfriend, the one who I think might be the dad, she was talking to his mother and sent her a picture of his 1-year-old son.
That's just it. There's honestly no proof to back up any of his doubts. He says that he sees her texting this person and texting that person, but he has never really caught her in the act with anyone. Could all this be in his head?
Do you know about this situation? Mr. Merrifield has stated that the reason why his wife says she's even with him is because it's your fault, because you took him in and she had no one else to date, and now she's caught in this.
That's what she said all the time.
Talk about a mother who's standing on business. Mrs. Moon Merrifield's mother is not here to joke around. She says that she's on both their sides, but sometimes they just act out of line, and she has to put them in check. Sounds like a pretty good mom to me.
I had no time to go nowhere else. I'm not that type of person. I'm not that type of woman.
So, Mr. Merrifield, why is it you have so much doubt? I know the text messages, but when she became pregnant,
Yeah, when she
and she told you, did you immediately say, I don't know if that child is mine?
No, I
You
did.
thought at first?
Yeah, I mean, when he got here,
There's no argument about that. Every child he has can't have his eyes. It just doesn't work that way all the time. Honestly, I think we've heard enough of their yapping. It's time we see what the results have to say about the situation.
Mr. Merrifield, you are Kane's father.
Or apologies, Devontae.
Mr. Porrovecchio claims that the defendant, Ms. Touche, and her daughter, Ms. Lutz, fraudulently received $150,000 in settlement money from the death of their father. He says that Ms. Lutz is not his biological sister, and her mother covered the whole thing up. Trust me, it's a crazy case, but here's how it begins.
Mr. Porrovecchio, you claim that the defendants, Ms. Touche and her daughter, Ms. Lutz, fraudulently received $150,000 in settlement money from the death of your father, Ricky Porrovecchio Sr., because Ms. Lutz is not your biological sister and her mother covered up that fact.
Yes, Your Honor.
Like I said, this is going to be one crazy case, trust me. Mr. Porrovecchio starts by saying that his dad died in an accident, and for some reason, he believes that Ms. Touche got to profit from his father's death, and he can't stand that.
A week after my dad was declared deceased, Miss Lutz was named changed from Theo to
My mom had to
Porrovecchio.
change my name because I was born a Theo because she was out of wedlock. My dad and her were poor. They didn't have the money to be married. They were poor.
Disagree.
And after he died, they were already going to get my name changed. And after he died, she had to have it changed.
Phew. Judge Lauren is going to have a hard time getting to the bottom of this. Ms. Touche says that she and Mr. Porrovecchio's late father were going to change Ms. Lutz's name and add Porrovecchio to it, but they couldn't do that because they were not married at the time.
You are actually Mr. Porrovecchio Sr.'s sister.
Correct.
And so you are Mr. Porrovecchio standing here, his aunt.
Yes,
She
Your
never
Honor.
denied me either. This is the first I'm hearing about this a few weeks ago because I have never heard that I was not a Porrovecchio until I got into it on Facebook.
Wow. If these guys eventually find out that they are related, I'm telling you, they are going to tear each other apart. It's like, over the years, they've built up so much bad blood that they can't even stand each other being in the same space.
Why do you think your brother is denying that you're...
Because they've filled his head with all kind of lies. You know my mother more than anything in this world. She kept us together, Ricky.
Well, you know it's a family feud.
Honestly, it does seem like Ms. Touche is telling the truth and really has nothing to gain from lying in the courtroom. But let's not jump to conclusions just yet. Ms. Lutz, however, says that the only reason Mr. Porrovecchio is denying her is because his aunt has filled his head with lies.
Why do you think this is happening?
I have no clue. I loved Ricky with all my heart, and the fact that he would even question me and him being brother and sister kills me because I look just like my daddy. If anybody looks like my daddy, I look just like my daddy.
Now, isn't that interesting? Ms. Lutz says that for as long as she can remember, her dad's side of the family always accepted her and treated her like family. But the moment her dad died and they got some settlement money, the whole story changed and they now act like strangers.
The reason, as far as them separating, my brother and Laura, is that my brother walked in on her having an affair.
Oh my God. How would you know something like that? Your Honor, I'd like to explain that lie.
It was told by my brother. I was 21 years old.
It just keeps getting more complicated. Mr. Porrovecchio's aunt says that her brother told her that he walked into Ms. Touche, kicking it in bed with another man. Ms. Touche, however, clears that and says it was a lie. She explains that it was a minor jealousy thing that happened when she got pregnant and they worked through it as a family.
It was doubt from my father, thinking that Taurine was actually for him. But he did love Laurie, Touche. He did love her.
Yes,
Of course he did. He married her and had 2 children with her.
And so you're saying that there was always rumors or discussion in the family
My father
that your
always-
father
rumors
doubted
came
whether
from-
or not Ms. Lutz was truly his child.
The rumors
Correct.
came from
Jeez, can't these guys make a statement without having to take a blow at each other? They are supposed to be family, for crying out loud. Oh well, Mr. Porrovecchio says that his father has always had doubts about Ms. Lutz being his child.
One of the mechanics came out of the back who was a friend of my older brother and saw me sitting there. He went to the auto parts store, bought brakes for my car, replaced them on my car. When I got home is when I found out my husband was so upset.
Aha! Now it's all starting to make sense. Apparently, the family feels like the man that Mr. Porrovecchio father was jealous of is the man that Ms. Touche had been sleeping with, and the result of that was Ms. Lutz. Crazy thing is, Ms. Touche got into a relationship with this so-called co-worker after her husband passed away.
car, and he would let us ride on his lap, drive us around. I was daddy's girl. I was his only daughter. He had 2 sons.
He loved his kids.
He
Like
loved
you
his
care. He
children.
loved his children.
Yes,
kids.
he did.
I love
Hence
my
his
his
daughter.
That has to be heartbreaking. I can't believe all this is happening because of some rumor. That's sad. Oh well. The results are ready to be revealed. Seems like that's the only way this case is going to be solved. Here they come.
Mr. Porrovecchio and Ms. Lutz are siblings.
Thank you. Keep up the lies, Ricky.
Ms. Ebony Parker appears before the judge suing Mr. Morton and his girlfriend, Miss Lemon. The lawsuit is for them denying the paternity of her child, Aaron, after having sex with both of them severally. She claims that the man's girlfriend turned him against her because she has been unable to get pregnant herself. It all started like this.
Ms. Parker, in your suit, you claim Mr. Morton fathered your 7-month-old son, Aaron, while in a relationship with his current girlfriend.
Yes, Your Honor.
You say the only reason he denies paternity is because his girlfriend turned him against you because she's been unable to conceive a child with him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Wow, that's just crazy. Ms. Lemon says she and her boyfriend had sex with his baby mama because Ms. Parker was lonely. Also, she says her freakiness led her to make such a decision.
The only reason why she was able to have sex with us is because I asked my boyfriend to have sex with her because she was lonely. My desires, me and my little freakiness, I said, my boyfriend, can you have sex with your pregnant baby mother because she's in need?
It appears that Aaron was born when the pregnancy was 7 months old, and that made the calculations a bit confusing. However, the accuser is confident about her claims, and there is nothing in this world that's going to change her mind.
I'm not tripping off of that. I know that that's my son's father. I know. He looks exactly like my other son.
And so you're doubtful, Mr. Morton, because you say there's a timing issue.
Yes.
Damn. In the heat of the moment, Ms. Lemon says Ms. Parker's boyfriend swears that he's Aaron's father, but the accuser had to continuously remind him that he's not, and that she had sex with him while she was already pregnant.
We down, yep, I'm clocking it.
You
Just
can't
like you
clock
clock
it, though,
mine. I
baby.
can.
You can't.
We
You
downtown.
can't clock
The
it.
guy walks up to her, they talking and everything. And he swears up and down Aaron is his. She had to keep reminding him that it's not yours, boo, it's not yours.
Is Mr. Morton actually Aaron's father, or is Ms. Parker just forcing her son or him? At this point, that remains a mystery. I mean, there seems to be a lot of uncertainty in the courtroom, and for some reason, I don't believe a word coming out of their mouth.
Before my boyfriend went away, I was pregnant by him. That's what they're getting confused. I had a whole miscarriage, Your Honor. A whole miscarriage by this man.
Now all of a sudden.
So what you're saying is you were pregnant
before,
but
this was before though. This is before I got pregnant again.
After she got pregnant, she told him it wasn't his because she had a sonogram saying she was 13 weeks pregnant. However, when she went for her first prenatal appointment, a fetal test confirmed that she was 8 weeks pregnant instead.
At the point you realize you're pregnant,
Yes, that's what
you
I'm
tell
trying
Mr.
to
Morton?
get to. I told him I was pregnant, and I did. I'm not gonna lie. I told him, this is not your baby. Being as though I have a sonogram telling me I'm 13 weeks. So when I go to my first prenatal appointment and they give me a fetal assessment and they say, no, miss, you're 8 weeks pregnant. Your baby is due December the 24th.
Aha! Now when she showed him the pregnancy sonogram, he didn't believe her. In fairness, how could he? Although he didn't follow her for the appointments, he was there when she gave birth to Aaron. Bittersweet is what I would call that.
Now I really believe it's your child. What was your response?
I had my doubts because of what she had told me.
You still had doubts. Did you participate? You have a child with her already. Did you
Yes.
participate in the birth? Were you there through the pregnancy?
I didn't go to none of the appointments. I ain't show up to none of the...
The accuser filed a lawsuit against him for harboring feelings for her son, but not accepting his responsibilities over him. Perhaps she's right for filing a lawsuit against him for showing affection to the baby, but not taking full responsibility for his well-being.
This feeling that he steps up to the plate and takes care of other people's children,
Yeah, so
but
why
does
should
not properly take care of baby Aaron is the basis of your suit.
Right.
Ms. Mary, the defendant's mother, appears before the judge to testify that he didn't do anything for the first child when he was born. So she doesn't want him to repeat the same ill act for Aaron. His mom genuinely believes that the newborn is his kid, and that's why she's appearing before the judge to testify.
Thank you so much for joining us. What's your name, ma'am, stated for the record?
Marie Dunlap.
Ms. Dunlap, you are?
I'm Mr. Morton's mother.
Oh, you are?
Yes.
You're Mr. Morton's mother?
Yes.
What do you have to add, ma'am?
Well, for the most part, as far as support system, when she first had baby Aaron.
Is Mr. Morton's mother right about her testimony? Is he right about his claims of not being Aaron's biological father? Let's find out together.
Mr. Morton, you are Aaron's father.
Thank you. I told you, like, I'm not no, come on. Thank you.
What would you do if you saw a girl wearing tight pants? Would you slide into her bed by selling dreams of wedding bells, as the man did in this case? Mr. Wiggins rolled up in court, seeking Judge Lake's help to get back his family.
Mr. Wiggins, you are here in court to prove that you are not the father of Ms. Davis's child, Aubrey Wiggins, and say today's results will change your life. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Davis, you claim that Mr. Wiggins knows he's the father of your child and is trying to deny her because he already has 3 children and doesn't want to step up and be a father.
Wow. A brief separation gave him the pass to sleep with another woman. It turned out that in no time, he was up to jiggery-pokery with Ms. Davis, yet he wanted to free himself from accusations of being a father to a baby girl.
We was never together.
Almost 2.5 years?
Yes, sir. Yes,
I was
ma'am.
married, Your Honor. I mean,
Yeah, married, but
it just, it kind of went longer than it should have.
But your hope is that if you can prove that Aubrey is not your biological child, that you can convince your ex-wife, which is the woman, I guess she left because of this situation?
Yes, ma'am.
Further, the defendant claimed that they had been in a committed relationship for 2 years. The man admitted to manipulating and lying to this young lady for his gain, yet blaming her was the reason he lost track of his family. Oh my.
right.
Did you think you were in a relationship?
I was. I knew I was in a relationship.
You did?
2.5
We
years
were
we
not.
was together.
I was telling her what I felt I needed to tell her to ultimately get what I wanted.
Obviously,
in a short
And
period
you might have gotten more than you bargained for, right?
He did. He did. A child.
The next Judge Lake hopped into the pregnancy. It slipped out that Mr. Wiggins' mistress wanted his wife out of his life because she expected to have her whole life with him. So he put on his deception hat and duped baby mama like this.
How did you find out Ms. Davis was pregnant?
So she kind of told people, and then I asked her to let me tell my wife. And of course, because she wanted my wife out of the picture, because she did want more.
You're right. I wanted more because that's what you presented.
And I was good to her. I mean, because ultimately I was trying to get something out of her.
However, he asserted that Miss Davis approached his wife on Facebook and disrupted his married life. Oh man, are you out of your mind? I mean, he has no control over his desires. And yet, has the defendant been inoculated for the havoc? That just makes no sense.
Miss Davis told her that she was pregnant and that she wasn't going anywhere. She inboxed her on Facebook, which
Right.
caused a lot of havoc in my life.
You wasn't gonna be a man.
Okay, so the next chronicles of Wiggins started. He claimed that she had been busy with another man at the time she conceived the baby because he sent some text messages on her phone. So that's why he was denying paternity.
We got into a bit of an altercation. I don't remember the exact details. And my family member seen her be picked up by another guy
That was my cousin.
that
I
she
wasn't
claims
pregnant.
to be her cousin. However, it's a coincidence that while we were at the hotel, she happened to be taking a shower, and I think I was using her tablet for something.
To prove his sham show right, the alleged father brought an exhibit to the court. He alleged that Miss Davis had fabricated his name on the birth certificate, but how she forged his name was quite interesting.
I'm no Einstein or anything, but I'm educated enough to know my own birth date. This is the birth certificate. Apparently she knew my name. This is the birth date that's listed on Aubrey's birth certificate. My birthday is November the 9th, 1990.
The one
this
you wrote.
says 11/11/1990.
And
I
you
didn't
wrote
write
it.
anything.
Until now, it was apparent that Mr. Wiggins was a compulsive liar who made sham allegations about baby mama, and he was clowning just to defend himself. Further, it came out that they were still sleeping together.
No, we're not, Your
At
Honor.
the same time, 2 different answers.
Right.
Exact same time.
When was the last time you 2 were intimate?
It's been a while.
Last night.
No, Your Honor, we was at separate hotels. No, Your Honor, that's not
And you made your way to my hotel.
That is not true,
Right.
Your Honor.
Yeah, Judge Lake was right. He was playing on both sides of the fence, yet he contended that he wanted to get back his family. However, their back and forth did not help and made things more complicated. So the last hope to get closure was to reveal the DNA results.
Mr. Wiggins, you are the father.